Rap icon Jay-Z's name has surfaced in a new batch of documents released by the U.S. Justice Department related to Jeffrey Epstein. The allegation involving Jay-Z is described separately in the same complaint. According to the FBI hotline report, the allegation involving Jay-Z is said to date back to 1996. The complainant alleged that she later awoke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter, known publicly as Jay-Z, while Weinstein was allegedly engaging in sexual misconduct. Again, these claims appear solely in a public hotline submission.
Y'all, Jay-Z's name is in the news again. And before the Bayhive starts typing, let me be very clear. I'm not saying he's guilty of anything, but I am saying this. Why does his name keep showing up in conversations nobody wants to have? And more importantly, how long is Beyoncé supposed to just stand there and take it? Because bestie, the pattern is loud. Let's get into it. So if you've been online at all this week, you saw it. Jeffrey Epstein's newly released documents mentioned Jay-Z's name. Now let me pump the brakes real quick. Being named in a document is not the same as being charged, convicted, or even accused directly. It means his name appeared. That's it. But here's the thing the internet is not letting go of. This is not the first time Jay-Z's name has been in proximity to something uncomfortable. And that's what we're talking about today. Not guilt, not courtroom convictions. We're talking about pattern. We're talking about why every few years Jay-Z ends up trending for reasons that have nothing to do with music. And we're talking about how Beyoncé, the woman who literally built a billion-dollar empire on perfection, keeps getting dragged into the mess. Because y'all, at some point, it stops being coincidence and starts being a brand liability. Let's rewind. A few years ago, when Diddy's name started getting loud in certain allegations, guess whose name started trending right alongside him? Yup, Jay-Z. Now, those allegations against Diddy were eventually dismissed, but social media, don't forget, and the internet been keeping receipts. People started connecting dots. The parties, the industry relationships, the decades-long friendship, and even though Jay-Z was never formally involved, the association was enough to get people talking. The girls started asking questions. The timeline started getting pulled up. And once that happens, the damage is done. Because here's the tea. Your reputation isn't just what you do. It's who you're seen with. And when your name keeps showing up in the same conversations as people facing serious allegations, eventually people start side-eyeing you too. And y'all know how the internet is. They don't need proof. They just need a vibe. But wait, because it gets messier. Now let's talk about something that keeps getting dug up every single time Jay-Z trends. Foxy Brown. If you don't know, Foxy was signed to Jay-Z's label Def Jam when she was a teenager. And over the years, there have been rumors, never charges, never lawsuits, but persistent internet chatter about the nature of their relationship when she was underage. Again, I'm not saying anything happened. There's no legal case, no conviction. But what is real is that every time Jay-Z's name pops up in controversy, Twitter pulls out the Foxy Brown files like clockwork. The age gap discourse gets reheated. The timelines get reposted. The think pieces get written. And for Beyoncé, that's her husband being discussed in the same sentence as inappropriate relationships with minors, even if it's just speculation. How do you navigate that as the most famous woman in the world? How do you protect your brand when your spouse's name is attached to rumors you can't control? Because here's what nobody wants to say out loud. Even if none of it is true, the repetition does damage. The constant resurfacing creates a narrative, and narratives stick. But y'all, we're not even at the messiest part yet. Okay, so let's talk about Rymir Satterthwaite. If you don't know the name, Google it. Because this has been going on for years. Rymir has publicly claimed that Jay-Z is his biological father and has been fighting in court to get a paternity test. Jay-Z has denied it. The case keeps getting dismissed and refiled. And the internet keeps the story alive. Now, I'm not here to say who's right or wrong. What I am saying is this. Every time Jay-Z trends for any reason, this case gets brought back up. The headlines resurface. The photos of Rymir get reposted. The comment sections fill up with people saying, he looks just like him. And whether it's true or not, it's another layer of drama attached to Jay-Z's name. Another thing Beyoncé has to publicly ignore. Another headline she has to pretend doesn't exist while she's out here selling Renaissance tours and Ivy Park collections. At what point does the stand by your man energy start feeling like protect the brand at all costs? Because y'all, that's the real question. And speaking of things Jay-Z actually admitted to, let's not forget what we know for sure. Jay-Z cheated on Beyoncé. He admitted it. She made a whole album about it. He made a whole apology album about it, and the world watched their marriage almost collapse in real time. That's not speculation. That's not rumor. That's confirmed. And it permanently changed how we see them as a couple. Because no matter how many title campaigns or joint tours they do, we all remember Becky with the good hair. We all remember Sorry. We all remember the elevator. So when you add that to everything else, the Epstein mention, the Diddy proximity, the Foxy Brown whispers, the paternity case, it's not about whether any one thing is true. It's about the accumulation. It's about how many times Beyoncé has had to smile through chaos, how many times she's had to protect his image while maintaining hers. And here's what the Bayhive won't admit, but the rest of us are thinking, at some point, doesn't she get tired? At some point, doesn't the billion-dollar brand deserve better than being collateral damage? So here's my final thought, and y'all can go off in the comments. Look, I'm not saying Jay-Z is guilty of anything that hasn't been proven, but I am saying the pattern is undeniable. And I'm saying that Beyoncé's name, her brand, her legacy keeps getting pulled into conversations she never asked to be part of. So here's my question for y'all. Do you think Beyoncé is protecting her marriage or protecting her empire? And how much longer do you think she should be expected to stand in the blast radius of someone else's controversies? Drop your honest thoughts below. No judgment, just tea. And if you made it this far, hit that subscribe button because clearly you're here for the mess. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Stay nosy, besties. Subscribe for more tea.